Madison Cole was 28 the day she realized silence could hurt more than words. It started with an empty mailbox. Around her, excitement bloomed. Relatives posted pictures of elegant invitations tied with gold ribbon. Her cousins called to discuss dresses and travel plans. Family group chats buzzed with countdowns and wedding excitement. Everyone had received an invitation to her brother's wedding. Everyone except Madison. At first, she thought it had to be a mistake. So she called her mother. There was a pause on the line. Then a soft laugh. "Oh, sweetheart," her mother said casually. "This event is just for people closest to us." Madison felt her chest tighten. Before she could answer, her father joined in from somewhere in the background. "Not everyone belongs at every family celebration." Then her aunt added with that familiar sweetness that somehow always felt sharp. "Real family is about connection." Connection. Madison stared at the wall after the call ended, because for years she had been connected to everything. She had helped with bills when money disappeared. She had covered emergencies. She had stepped in quietly whenever life cracked beneath their feet. She had been needed, just apparently not wanted. That night, she sat on her couch staring at her laptop screen. She had two choices: stay home and wait for the pain to settle, or leave. 10 minutes later, she booked a flight. One way, no plan, no explanation, just gone. 3 days later, Madison stood on cobblestone streets thousands of miles away. The evening sky melted into shades of orange and gold. For the first time in months, maybe years, nobody needed anything from her. No phone calls asking for favors, no guilt, no expectations. She wandered small cafes, watched strangers laugh over coffee, and sat by the water as musicians played nearby. She took pictures of sunsets, bought herself dessert without justifying the expense, sat alone without feeling lonely. But healing isn't instant. Pain travels. Late at night, family voices still found her. "Family comes first. You're too sensitive. Why can't you do more?" Echoes from years of trying to earn love that always seemed conditional. Yet distance has a strange way of clarifying things. Madison began asking herself questions she'd avoided for years. If she was such a disappointment, why did they always call when they needed help? If she didn't matter, why had she quietly carried so much? The answers weren't comfortable, but they were honest. 5 days into her trip, her phone lit up. "Mom, Madison, please call me immediately." Then another. "Dad, we need your help." Another. "Brother, please answer." Her stomach sank. She opened the message. "Wedding canceled. Please help us." Madison stared at the words, read them once, then twice. The family who had erased her from the celebration suddenly remembered she existed. When she returned home, the messages multiplied. Voicemails, texts, missed calls. Her mother wrote, "We didn't mean anything by it." Her father wrote, "Families help each other." Her aunt wrote, "Your brother is devastated." Madison set her suitcase down and simply sat in silence. Because a week earlier, she wasn't family enough for a chair. Now she was family enough for a check. So that evening, her brother finally called. His voice sounded exhausted. "Maddie, please." She closed her eyes. "We just need help clearing some debt with the venue." "How much?" Silence. Then, 20,000. Madison blinked. $20,000. Not for survival, not for emergency medical bills, not for disaster, for appearances, for a wedding already built on promises no one could afford. "Maddie?" She took a slow breath. "I thought I wasn't part of the family." Silence. Heavy silence. Then came the answer. "I didn't mean it like that." But people usually do mean it, especially when they think you'll never stop showing up. That night, Madison posted a picture from her trip, a sunset over old streets and quiet buildings. The caption read, "Sometimes being left out becomes the thing that saves you." Friends commented. Strangers shared stories. People understood. And for the first time in a long time, Madison felt seen. Not for what she provided, for who she was. Days passed. Panic spread through her family. Vendors wanted payment. Plans began falling apart. People started asking questions. The perfect image her family worked so hard to maintain slowly cracked. Her brother called again. This time he sounded different, smaller. "Maddie, if this doesn't happen, everyone will know." Madison looked out her apartment window. City lights blinked beneath her. Everyone will know. That had always been the fear, hadn't it? Not sadness, not loss, embarrassment, appearance, image. She answered softly. "You were worried about people seeing me as the problem." She paused. "Now you're worried they'll see the truth." Weeks passed. Something unexpected happened. Madison's world grew. Work became exciting again. She spent evenings with friends who laughed without judgment. She attended small gatherings where nobody compared her to anyone else. Nobody expected her to earn affection. Nobody kept score. One Friday night, she sat at a long table surrounded by people who felt light to be around. Real conversations, real warmth, real joy. She looked around and suddenly realized something. She wasn't chasing a seat anymore. She already had one. Later that night, she posted another photo. A table filled with friends, glasses raised, smiles untouched by obligation. The caption was simple. "Love isn't proven by invitations, it's proven by presence." The response flooded in. People shared their own stories, stories about exclusion, about healing, about choosing themselves. Madison read every message and quietly cried. Not because she was hurt anymore, because she finally understood something. Being excluded had never been proof she wasn't enough. It had simply revealed where she no longer belonged. 7 weeks later, her phone rang. "Mom." Madison almost didn't answer. Almost. Her mother's voice trembled. "We made mistakes." Madison stayed quiet. "We've lost so much." There it was. Not "we miss you." Not "we hurt you." Loss. Need. Fear. Madison listened carefully, then finally asked, "What about me?" Silence. Long silence, because for the first time, there wasn't an easy answer. That night, Madison sat beside her window with her journal open. She turned to a clean page, then slowly wrote, "They thought they removed me from their story, but they only gave me space to write my own." She stared at the words, smiled softly. Outside, city lights glowed beneath the night sky. Inside, peace settled around her. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. Because the wedding that never happened hadn't ended her story. It had started it. And for the first time in her life, Madison wasn't waiting for someone else to hand her a seat at the table. She had built her own. And at her table, love came without conditions.